Welcome back to day 3 of our, what do we call it? Isolation. Fiasco.
Banged up abroad.
Banged up abroad. So, for you guys who don't know, banged up in London or English slang is like imprisoned. So it's like banged up abroad. It's like a.
it's actually a TV program about people who get locked up when they're in another country.
So we're basically banged up abroad right now.
That's my mum's joke, by the way, because I know she's going to send me a message and say, that was my joke.
But this is a new white wall. This is not the same white wall as the last white wall in the last, well, yesterday, basically.
Yeah, we've had some new information. Now, we did mention in our last video that the hardest part about this whole situation is not having access to clear information. I watched the president's speech that he done yesterday, and he mentioned quite a few different things. A lot of it I couldn't understand, some of it he said in English, some of it I was reading the comments for that people were reacting to it, so I could kind of see what was being said.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus! Anyway. It made me a bit suspicious about sitting next to you now.
Come on, man.
So I was this is what being locked up for 3 days. See, this is our statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is what we've been like. I was reading the comments and stuff in the speech because I watched it on Facebook Live, and he basically said that within 72 hours of last night or midnight this morning or whatever time, basically by the 19th, all foreigners, if you're still in the country, you're to make your way to an international airport and leave, basically, because they're gonna end all international flights leaving the country by the 19th. Now, from my information, I think it's midnight on the 19th. Our issue is this: we had to make a decision about what we wanted to do, and the understanding of what was going on in the whole world, not just this country. And our country is in absolute meltdown at the moment.
Crazy,
yeah, our own country's in meltdown. And I don't feel like our own government is taking the precautions that the Philippines is taking, but at the same time, we kind of know how things work over there. So we thought that the best thing for us to do in this situation was to try and get home. Now, we've booked flights obviously to go home later on in the year, and we're not going to make them flights. As far as we were concerned, we were going to book new ones and try and make our way back to England now, within the next few days.
Yeah.
But what happened was, we flew from Manila to Iloilo, as you all know. Our house isn't ready, as you all know. And then as soon as we arrived, we got isolated, as you all know. And then the president done a speech last night which changed literally everything. So between arriving and being isolated and last night's speech, we'd actually booked a flight from Iloilo to Clark, a flight from Clark to Singapore, and then we found a flight from Singapore to London via both Malaysia or Dubai. And that was our plan. It was going to take about 2 days to get home, but we were prepared to do it, and that was what we were going to do. The president then came on live yesterday and
told
said,
us to stop making ruckus.
he said, everyone obey your barangay captains, don't cause a ruckus, you'll be arrested. Crystal was really funny. Don't cause a ruckus. But yeah, he basically said that the only international flights that will be leaving the country for foreign nationals now will be up until the 19th. You have 72 hours to leave. Now, our flight to Clark from Iloilo was for today. The date is, let me check.
It'll be yesterday when this video goes up, I guess.
Maybe we'll put it up this evening, who knows, but right now it's the 17th. So our flight to Clark from Iloilo was this afternoon. We spent all night last night deliberating between the two of us about what is best for us, because at this point in time, as of right now, Tuesday the 17th of March, we've got 5 flights booked that we've booked to try and get ourselves somewhere out of trouble, and then the flights got cancelled. The flights got cancelled. The flights got cancelled. I think we were on like the last flight into Iloilo that actually went ahead.
Quite possible.
I think that there's no more. We know for a fact that the Iloilo airport has now been closed down, so they were just closing all flights in, but they were still letting flights out go. And then our flight to Clark was this afternoon. It got postponed, and now it's not running. So we are officially stuck in Iloilo for the foreseeable future. There is no getting rid of us. We are yours. Take us as we are, because as of right now, we've got 5 flights from now until the middle of the year that we can't take, as far as we know, which means we've lost a lot of money. We really have spent a lot of money on flights.
That's the worst bit. I mean, it would have been so much easier if Duterte would have told us straight away what was going to go on. Like, if you're going to implement like restrictions, then he should have really said to us like the whole restrictions, so that we know what we was getting into, because we booked flights thinking, okay, well, we can still leave. Now we can't leave.
Yeah, because the other thing is as well, what was said was, this is where it is difficult, is that it was, you've got 72 hours to leave, but I'm going to close all the airports, so you can't get to the international airports to leave. So the only way we can get out of Iloilo is to fly to England via China. We're not going to do that. Well, we can't do that now anyway because it's closed. But the only other option that we had was to go to China and go back to London through Iloilo, which obviously is just not an option. So the second best option was to fly to Cebu or to Clark, and it was easier to fly to Clark because there was a lot more flights back to London than there was going from Cebu. And then we booked that to try and leave. He gave a 72-hour period for you to do that. Our flight from Clark to Singapore was on the 23rd. The reason it was on the 23rd is because it was the only available flight. So before the 72-hour window came into action, we'd gone through every single day on Skyscanner to try and find a flight, and there was no flights available. They were all fully booked. They just weren't running. They were being cancelled. The next available flight that we literally could get out of the country was on the 23rd. Then the 72-hour restrictions came into place, and before the 72 hours are even up, Iloilo Airport's been closed, so obviously we can't leave.
Just one thing after another, to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah, because then this morning I thought, right, okay, I'm going to phone our embassy. I'm going to phone the British Embassy in Manila, and we're going to have a conversation with them, and they can advise us on what's best to do. Well, phone the embassy thinking, right, they're going to sort us out because
coronavirus, I bet you.
They're I know, I've seen on Facebook on the groups and stuff that like the German embassy have said, if you can get a group of X amount of people together, then we can come and collect you. And our British embassy in Manila is closed. I rung them, they're closed. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8 until 4:45 p.m. It's Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Why are you closed? So we haven't been able to get in touch with the British embassy.
Maybe we should try them again and see.
I can try them again, but they haven't answered.
They are British after all. They're probably down the pub drinking Riddles.
I've rung them 3 times today and there's not been any answer. So we've got nowhere with that. We're still in one of the only places that have got no cases of coronavirus, and now they've closed all ports and entrance points into the island. So
we ain't going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere, but corona's not coming in either. So we're pretty safe where we are.
I think like we're gonna be here for probably at the very least 2 weeks, and then it depends on what happens with like flights leaving the country and stuff. So we could be here for a little while yet.
I mean, we weren't thinking, oh, let's leave because the Philippines have got coronavirus. We were thinking, let's leave because the longer this goes on for, then people are going to start being laid off in work. Aeroplanes and flight companies are going to start like reducing their staff. The more staff reduction, the more flight reductions there are. The more flight reductions there are, obviously the less people that can get home. So the only reason we were going home is so that obviously at some point we were at home to be able to go back to work. There's only a certain amount of time you can sustain yourself for when you're not working.
Especially when you're booking 5 flights and not going to make any of them.
Yeah, exactly. we have really spent a fortune on flights. So you got to look at the positives. We're still in the sunshine. We're on the only island that, well, not the only island, but definitely on one of the biggest islands that got no confirmed cases. No coronavirus is coming in because the ports are all closed. And you will be pleased to know that we have left the dungeon. And if you're not pleased to know, I'm telling you, I'm pleased to tell you that we've left the dungeon. So the only way that we were allowed out was if we were checking out, and we were obviously checking out to go to Clark. So we thought, when our whole flight situation happened, we need a bigger room with better Wi-Fi, because it was torture, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I tried to watch one episode of The Circle and it took me 2 days and I didn't even finish it. It was torture. So we're in a different hotel and the isolation restriction has been lifted. We're in community quarantine instead, which is a lot better. It's a lot more manageable, and it gives us just, we don't feel like we've done something wrong. Like, isolation makes you feel like a prisoner, doesn't it? It makes you feel like...
I used to get isolated in school all the time because I was always bad. So it was like being back in school again.
It was horrible. You're relying on people that you don't know, literally strangers, to feed you. And even that was impossible because we had to order our own food.
It was horrible in there. But now we're back in the city, so we're allowed out to go and do essentials. So we can go and get food. We can go and so we haven't got to rely on like fast food that
just deliveries.
Yeah, we can go and find like places so that we can eat at and stuff like that. So that's good. That's a positive. We're getting better slowly.
We're working our way through these positives here. So. That was a good thing. We literally checked out at 7 o'clock this morning, done what we needed to do, packed all our stuff up, and we're checked into a hotel that we stayed at last year. And the reason we came to this hotel is because we know that the Wi-Fi is good. So we came in, got all our stuff in, we just sat in the room for a bit. Then when we got hungry, we walked 160 metres to the nearest food place. We ate, we came back, and we've been in our room all day since. So we are obeying the rules. We haven't done anything that we're not supposed to do. There's not been any kind of, problems, or nobody said anything to us, but the isolation's been lifted and we're in community quarantine. But we have heard that the city is in community quarantine, but there is, the barangays have been kind of community isolated or something like that. I don't really know. We don't really understand it, so if anyone's from Iloilo and they know what's going on in the barangays, if you could let us know, that would be good. And that's pretty much it, isn't it? Like, we're
just gonna take you through each day that we do here.
Yeah, may as well.
We can all suffer together, right?
May as well keep you all updated. I mean, we've got nowhere to go to make videos. You've got nothing else to do than to watch them. So what a great combination.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all we've done all day. Like, maybe edited some pictures, and that's about it. So we'll go for dinner a little bit later, and then we'll be back in our room. My It's just one of them. I mean, what can you do?
Just another day, innit? It's just another day.
Do you know what though? See that first breath of fresh air when we left that hotel room?
When the sun hit my back,
I was like, my God, it was amazing. It's quite sad, and it's mental what a couple of days does to you, but it was hard. We didn't leave that room once the whole time that we were there, and it was hard. So anyone who has to do that for a long period of time, honestly, you're a soldier, because we struggled, didn't we? But we did have a laugh, didn't we? We laughed quite a lot while we were there, but it's just one of them. So, if it's going to happen to anyone, it's going to happen here at Coastal
We've had so much bad luck this year.
It's just, like we thought, everyone was like, oh, you're going to get so much good karma for what you've done with the Tile families and stuff, and then it just seems like since then, we've just had like situation after situation after situation after situation. But do you know what we didn't tell you? Guess what we found?
What did we find?
We found our SIM cards.
Oh yeah, we found our SIM cards.
So if you watch us, you know that we lost our English SIM cards, which was a problem because the English SIM cards being lost meant that we couldn't verify any transactions that we made on our bank cards, which made it very difficult for us to be able to use our bank cards over here, because they want to text your mobile number to prove that it's you. And we found them down the back of the seat in the back of the car that we rented just before we gave it back. I said, oh, lift it up and just check. Good job, innit?
honestly, that's taken away like 40% of our problems.
Yeah.
Literally, that one thing.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's positive.
That is positive. And to be fair, out of the whole situation, like I know there's a lot of people at home that are really having a hard time. Like I know that there's family members of mine whose children have been diagnosed with the virus, and like things at home are getting quite serious, and we're just here in our room chilling, and everybody's going mental. You can't buy any food at home, you can't buy any toilet paper at home, you can't buy rice. There is nothing anywhere, and it's just kicking off, isn't it? And then here we are with a bum gun and soap for free in every hotel we check into, and unlimited rice because we're in the Philippines, and on an island that's got no cases, no coronavirus is coming on this island.
It's pretty much
we're
like,
just like,
it's like business as usual here in Iloilo. There ain't really any problems here. Like, to be honest, you wouldn't even know that there was any anything going on unless like you went to the airport and the airport's probably closed. Other than that, you wouldn't really know.
I definitely think there's less people on the street.
I don't know.
Like normally you can hear people out there like beeping, and like there's nothing.
You'll see
it's very
rush
quiet.
hour. We'll see it. We'll see when we go for dinner because it'll be like rush hour. But pretty much, as of what I've seen, it looks like business as usual. But there could well be a few people off the road. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't have noticed. So
I definitely thought that it looked a little bit quieter, but do you know what? Of all the places in the country that we were gonna get stuck, definitely needs to be stuck at home, eh? Where
in
our
our
little house is.
in our home city,
in our
boy.
hometown. In our hometown. So I suppose that's our daily update, really. There's not really much else we can tell you. We haven't already told you probably 10 times already, because we've nothing. Coronavirus! Coronavirus! Can you stop coughing? I'm saying there's no coronavirus in Iloilo, and you're just spluttering all over the camera.
I sneezed.
That's not a sneeze.
I think it was a sneeze. To be continued. Sweet.
Do you know what somebody actually said in the comments? Stop coughing, guys.
Yeah.
And FYI, just for anyone who is concerned about Chris's health, see, when we're in England, all he does is to clear his throat. So, and there's nothing ever wrong with him. I promise ya, we're fine.
We went to Palawan shop today, and the guy.
Yeah.
So we walked into Palawan, right? And the security guard sprayed us all with the hand sanitizer, right? So I thought, all right, okay, that's normal. So I was filling in the details, hand it to the lady. I go and sit down, and the guy is sitting like to my left, and he's just coughing.
The coughing and coughing and coughing, and I looked at Chris and I was like, coronavirus. No, it's not a laughing matter.
It was quite funny though, because
it.
I don't even take much notice really.
No, but now coughing is a thing. You're very aware of it, aren't you? Someone coughs and you're like.
After the whole coughing episode in the airport, where everyone turned around and looked at me, it was quite funny.
So, 7 o'clock, and we was like, right, we best go and get food. We went to a place that we found on Google Maps. It was closed. So we went to the place that we went to at lunchtime today. It was closed. We went to the petrol station because they have a shop, and we said, is there anywhere that we can eat? And the woman said, oh, sorry, there's only this eatery here, or the place, and she pointed in the direction of the place that we ate lunch today. Everything is closed. By the time we finally got round to being at the petrol station and asking somebody, it was 7:30, and we only had breakfast this morning, and everywhere is shut because as of today there is a curfew in place from 8 PM until 5 AM. So we're just trying to find food, and it's just another one of them things. Grab food managed to get us managed to save our life, didn't it? Cheers.
Cheers. Lockdown food. Good stuff.
I think you messed up.
I've had pizza 3 days in a row.
I know, I'm sick of pizza, but then I taste it and I'm like, oh, actually, am I?
I'm not.
It is nice. So So basically we're waiting for someone to contact us and tell us what the update is on the news, because as of 8 o'clock a document should have been dropped to explain what the latest is, because apparently Philippines has declared themselves as in a state of calamity. So we're just waiting for the documentation to drop so that we can find out what that means for us and if it affects us and
all the
rest of it. Yeah, 8 o'clock. So the news already said it earlier, and it was meant to drop at 8. So it's 8:15 now. Just waiting for someone to update us on what it means.
I read somewhere that he's only done the state of calamity because he can get more money for the government to spend, I'm assuming, to help offset the money that people are going to lose, families and stuff. So I'm assuming it's that, which is a good thing. Even though it sounds a bit weird. Calamity sounds bad, right?
Calamity does sound bad, yeah.